Back to Pennsylvania we go. Vernon is on the line. Hi, Vernon.
Hi, how are you doing, Leo?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm a long-time listener, and I listen to you and Steve Gibson all the time.
Right on. That's our security podcast, Security Now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And now I have a security question.
Okay.
That either I wasn't paying attention or I missed that episode. Last week, my insurance company said they were going to send me some secure documents in an email. And I contacted them over the telephone, and they said they would email this to me. And I waited for the email. I didn't get an email.
Uh-oh.
So then I waited. So I called them back and said, I didn't get the email. Well, they'll send it again. So they sent the email again. I didn't get that email. So on the third try, I said, by the way, is there anything in these documents that would be pertinent to my account?
Everything.
Yeah, right.
Your social security number, your home address, your birth date, everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So on the third call, I started to question them about the security of this attachment they sent in the email, and they said, oh, don't worry about it. It's encrypted. So I said, that's fine. And I finally, on the third email try, I got the email, and there was this attachment, and when I tried to open it, I got this window that came up, and it had me enter my information, my name, my first name, last name, and a password, and then verified the password and a secure question. And I'm thinking, how is this working? You know, it's like I'm giving them the password. You know.
Well, so there wasn't a prearranged password. You didn't have you didn't have a login or something.
No.
It asked you for a password, and it could be anything you wanted.
Right. As a matter of fact, I started to question this after I did this, and of course, then I could open the attachment, obviously. But I
guess that's for future reference. You would be required in future to give it the password, I would guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought too.
You're creating an account, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had, in the process, asked them to send. Since I wasn't getting the email at one address, I asked them to send it at a different one as well. So I figured now, after I had done this on the first receiving of the email, I'd try it on the other email account and see if I entered different information, if it would still allow me to open the same email.
Interesting.
It allowed me to open the same email.
So in other words, it didn't really matter what you entered.
Right. Exactly.
Well, that's not encryption, is it?
Yes. Well, I think what it might be is they don't understand how to use this encryption tool. I think they should be entering my account information, my name, and assigning a password, and then telling me this
yes.
over the telephone.
Yeah, or mailing it, physical mail. That's what a lot of financial companies do, is they'll say, we're going to create a PIN for you. We're going to mail this to you, thereby having a secondary channel, making it harder for an attacker, plus verifying your physical address.
Right.
And that's a fairly secure way to do it. So maybe they didn't understand how it works. Were they using a technology like DocuSign? Does that ring a bell, DocuSign?
No, there was nothing on it other than the insurance company's logo.
So there is a widely used service, secure service called DocuSign, and often it makes you make an account. If you don't have if you have a DocuSign account, you can log into it. If you don't, it says, "Oh, well, let's make an account for you." Mm-hmm. But you're clearly you've been listening carefully to Security Now, because you're making an excellent point. Anybody who received that email or intercepted that email could enter anything they want.
Exactly.
And it would encrypt and open up the document.
So I just wondered, there wasn't something I missed in one of your...
Not that I know of. I'm trying to think, and we'll have to query Steve Gibson, the host of the show, because he's the real guru there. But I'm a apprentice guru by virtue of listening to 600 of his shows. Right. And he's probably listening right now. He does listen to the radio show. So Steve, if you're listening, call in. But I'm trying to think of... did it have to be your email that you entered in that account?
No.
It could be
I entered
any email. Oh, you entered a different one. Yeah.
It had a position for your first name, last name, password, verification of the password, and secure secret message. Favorite pet. What I think.
Yeah. So you were creating an account of some kind.
Yeah, exactly.
And you had to do that before the document opened up.
That's correct.
Okay. So the next time you open the document, I hope they send you a document. I hope it will not give you that dialogue, but instead say, "What's the password you created?" However, that first time, that document they sent is not secured.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I got a second document, but unfortunately, this was to a different email address. But it was the same document to a different email address.
Yeah.
And went through the same process when I clicked.
Yeah, but now having created an account.
No, I used a different password.
And it unlocked again.
Yes, exactly. So, I guess I had called them back on this. There was a number to ask if you had any questions about this secure email, and I questioned this whole thing, and they had no explanation for this at all.
They don't know how it works. That's why.
Yes, it was obvious from the person I talked to. They did not know how it worked.
Is this a big insurance company, and then you were talking to an agent?
This is a major insurance company.
And were you talking to an employee of that company or an employee of an agency that was selling you the insurance?
No. I was talking to the representative of the company.
So it was a big financial institution you were talking to.
Yes, a big financial.
I'm guessing they're using. There are a couple of services like DocuSign, and the chat room is confirming that is off. That is kind of the DocuSign sign up. You could read the documents clearly?
Oh, once I had entered this password,
everything was there.
Everything was there perfectly.
And at that point,
account numbered, it had pertinent information in it.
Yeah, and at that point, was the purpose of you receiving that to sign it?
No, and eventually, but I wouldn't be returning it signed. It was just to basically get the form.
Oh.
But all the information that had to do with my account was already pre-filled in.
Yeah, so that's not the method is clearly insecure.
I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt either.
Well, I was dreaming about this, and I was thinking, well, maybe I missed something in this whole. When I listened to you and Steve goes into so much detail sometimes that you
maybe missed it.
Glaze over.
Well, the reason I was thinking DocuSign. First of all, a lot of companies use it, and its intent is we'll send you a document, then you click here and you've signed it, and they make you create the account, basically to associate that signature with you for future purposes. But that doesn't sound like what this was. This sounds like something else.
No, they did not do that at all.
So this is, the problem in the world in general is that, this stuff has far outpaced the knowledge of the people using it. And unfortunately, hackers are now everywhere. And so everyone knows it's easy to intercept email. It has to go through a bunch of servers just to get to you. And at any point along the line, it sounds like whoever was on those servers could have viewed your document.
Well, I asked the person when I called back, how do you know that, the person that received that email was me?
Yeah. Was the document a physical attachment, or was it a link back to the...
No, it's a physical attachment.
No, it doesn't sound like that's secure, and it's interesting that it's a big company. Hang on. After we go off the air, I'd like to know the name of the company. Maybe we could pursue this. All right, hang on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.